Yes, hello YouTube. My apology. I was just doing a live stream and yeah, the power went. So I apologize for that. Yeah, so I have it plugged in and so I'm not actually able to use the mic because it's charging right now and I really wanted to finish the live stream. I was almost done. So I want to just wait a few minutes so that I get to see that there are viewers. Okay. Yeah, I hope your day is going well. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that with health, you really have to be your own. Sometimes you have to be your own best friend, your own doctor, so to speak. Because sometimes when you listen to what doctors believe, it's staggering. They in medical school they have to take up chemistry, and they could easily just verify the effects of fluoride. And with I used to live in the Caribbean, and I I mean even in New York City, there are a lot of people from the Caribbean, and in particular the English-speaking islands. They have I find in general people from the English-speaking islands, they have really nice teeth. Their teeth tends to be very straight, very white. But when you look at um, people in what they call, industrialized nations, they have the worst teeth. People in Britain have awful teeth. Many people in the States, they have a lot of um, um, lost teeth. Also, the people from France I notice have bad teeth. They like a lot of pastries, and so all that sugar, it's like an acid to you. And they eat a lot of things with sugar in it, and they tend to have really bad teeth. And I used to be in the cooking field for a couple of years, and I worked with people, cooks from France, mainland France, and yeah, they could be real young, but they have really bad teeth. So, so I, so what makes the people of the Caribbean to have such nice white straight teeth? Well, they don't they may not have the money to buy all that processed food, so they buy practical foods. They buy they eat a lot of tubers. They eat, let's see, yeah, a lot of vegetables. A lot of vegetables. They many of them do eat a lot of meat, mutton, but they don't eat a lot of processed foods, a lot of processed carbohydrates. Yeah. So their teeth are preserved. And so that because they eat all these green, their veggies that has a good mineral content in it, so their body is absorbing the food, the minerals and everything. And that will promote good mineral intake to promote good, strong bones and teeth. Calcium does not promote, I mean, taking all supplements of calcium is not in itself what promotes strong teeth. If your body's not absorbing that calcium, um, in fact, if you take too much of the calcium, it could produce, in fact, that it your body will it be too much, and you might have stones, things like that. Yeah, you find that uh, the the nations that use a lot of calcium supplements are the ones that have osteoporosis. In the African continent, they have very low intake of calcium. But what they do have is exercise. They they're very physical, and you find that doing a lot of physical activity. What when they prepare their food, they're doing a lot to even get that food prepared. They might have like use that let's say grains. They're actually pounding the grain, and they're getting their exercise that way. They have good muscle formation, and so the heavy, strong muscles, um, it has a positive effect on bones. It makes the bone strong. So you find that people from the African continent, in general, do not have osteoporosis, and that industrialized nations like Western Europeans, North Americans, they have the worst bone density, and they have the worst teeth. So, so that's what I want to say with regard to the dental. The other thing I want to talk about, um, yeah, I was watching this program on this island. It's the name of the island. It's in the Pacific Ocean, and it's called Pitcairn. And what I'm going to mention about that island is because of the what's happening socially about mental health or emotional health, social health. And I was alarmed about what's what's happening. I used to think. Now I had an opportunity. I twice lived in the in well I lived in the Caribbean, and I also lived in Hawaii, both very warm places. And I used to think that happiness was to live on an island, and that everything on an island has to be like, it has to be peace and all that. But this place, Pitcairn, it's under British control, and there's only 47 people that live on that island. And the history of that island is such. I think it was in the 1700s. There was a ship, and this one particular person did what called mutiny. He rebelled against the captain, and he and let's see, it could have been about maybe 8 people from the boat, and then there was about maybe 14 to 16 Tahitians. Tahitians are people from Tahiti. That's also located in the Pacific Islands, and they left together, and they landed on this island that was unpopulated at the time, and 20 years later, upon going to that island, I think it was a British ship, had found the inhabitants there. So fast forward. So the people have a problematic history, because it started out because of a mutiny, and what's happening on that island. It was really an eye-opener. They have a problem. There was a lawsuit. There are about, I think they said 4 men on that island, which, four, yeah, about 4 men on that island, which was half of the male population, and I think adult male population, and they had raped underage girls. And then they said, the guy admitted, the leader of that island, he's the direct descendant of the man who did mutiny to the captain of this other ship. And then he and groups of other people left together, and they landed on this island. So it's about 200 years, about 8 or 9 generations since that happening. And so he admits, he says, I didn't have, I did not rape the girl. We had consensual sex. Now, these were underage. And some of the people that they interviewed in this documentary were saying that, oh, the women, the young women, they're it's part of the Polynesian culture that the women have sex at an early age, from age 12 to 14 for their first experience. And it's in general usually someone who, with a guy who's just a little older than them. But in this case, these were adult men that were way much older than these girls. And so they had gotten people from Britain to oversee the trial. It was very troubling to watch the program, because I used to live in the Pacific Islands, and yeah, it's a lot of I heard about that there is underage sex there. Um, and then I think historically that you even have women, adult women, having sex with young boys. Um, it's very disturbing to me, and I think the whole thing, like, I don't understand how, there's plenty of adults that they could be engaged with. I just say, leave the green fruit alone, you know. Um, get someone your own age, adult men. I don't understand why. I mean, it's just very disturbing. And it was an eye-opener also, because I thought that because it's a tropical island, that everybody's in harmony. But it's like, it's a very stressed out society. And I said, well, it's only 47 people. Only 47 people that live on that island. So why is it so, it's stressed out? I think maybe when you feel like you have nothing better to do, or nothing to really motivate you, then you may, you look for trouble. And I think that's what's happening. Having it too easy is stressful for them. They are funded by Britain. Everything is imported in. But I was surprised at the lack of concern with some of the women even. Some of the women were against the women. I forget how many women actually complained. They had left the island, and I think they went to Britain, and then they filed a complaint, and they wanted an investigation. And one of the ladies that they did interview, and she was on camera, she was violated at the age of 3. And some of the people where she moved to in Britain, when they found out where she was from, they were just saying, oh, I know what type of stuff go on there. And they said it kind of like in a fresh way, you know. She was deeply offended. I feel for these people. And to find out that paradise is not an island, that doesn't make a paradise. But I believe for years that that's what made paradise, to have nice green plants, and you just relax. But but that's not the case. So, it's just something I wanted to share, that society, I guess real society, how you feel about yourself, and how you guide your own self, how you guide your society, So that's what I wanted to talk about with Pitcairn. And the last thing I want to talk about, I want to talk this. I was watching a video yesterday, and it was about coffee and the Secret Space Program, SSP. Now, I talked about the Secret Space Program in my past videos, and I want to, why I'm mentioning about this is because in one of my videos I mentioned what is the Secret Space Program also discusses that they're doing human trafficking. They're kidnapping people and they're forcing them to work on these ships and all this slave labor. And it sounds really hard to believe. But I think that I think the Secret Space Program, or I should say spacecrafts, do exist. I believe that, not even believe, I think I would say that I know that it exists. I I saw one of the black triangles planes, um, and I also saw um, in a meditation vision, I saw one of the cigar-shaped spacecrafts. It was completely white, very shiny. No, I didn't see any windows, and then it had a red dot in front. And then I found out that there are ships like that. So I saw them. I saw those too. And I also saw in a vision this being. I was really, really surprised. I saw something. But, so I believe that it does exist. There's, travel to other planets and different dimensions. I believe that because of my experiences. So in one of these past videos, I wanted to try to put the dots together with history. Now, how come in history, I wanted to understand about the transatlantic slave trade, and why would you have this event that lasted for several hundred of years, and that the amount of supplies that the people who were enslaved were responsible for producing, it was massive, massive production. Why would you need all that production of cotton, digging for gold, what's that thing, and coffee, and other stuff? And I'm thinking that's where the Secret Space Program must have existed back then. There are not photographs, there are paintings of spacecrafts, those flying saucer shaped spacecrafts in some of the medieval paintings. I couldn't believe it when I saw it, those paintings. They had this one, what looked like a flying saucer, and these rays of light came down, and the person known as baby Jesus was in the photo, and the beam was shining on the baby Jesus with Mother Mary. So even back then, in the 1400s, 1500s, they had spaceships, or what do you call it, flying saucers in artwork. So I started thinking, when this video that I was watching 1 or 2 days ago, and they were talking about coffee, and there's one person who, in fact, I had interviewed him before. This person was in the Secret Space Program. He goes by the name Tony Rodriguez, and you could just type in his name on my channel of videos that I did, and you'll be able to watch it's almost a 4-hour interview that I did with him last year in February 2018. And he talked about that one of his jobs when he was a slave, and they are what they call technical slaves, that they do technologies, but you're still forced to do what you're doing. And his job at one point was to do it at like an inventory of the supplies on the spacecraft, because they had to drop it off to another location. And he had to look inside one of the boxes, and he saw that it was coffee. Now he had like a boss or supervisor over him, but because this particular person was only doing his job, this slave, it was the supervisor slash manager who got in trouble for him looking inside the container. According to this experiencer of the secret space program, he said that coffee up in space, it sounds ridiculous, but he said coffee is considered like contraband. It's a substance that, like how people do cocaine, those type of contraband, that it's illegal because of the effects that the caffeine does. And so when he mentioned that, I said, wow, coffee. You have in New York City, like I live in New York City, all of a sudden, I see so many coffee houses, or they call them roasters, and it's all over, coffee places. And why is this? Why this need for coffee, and caffeine? People say, well, they need to wake up. I mean, that's not the only thing that you can use to, wake yourself up. But I feel that it's being introduced to the population for a reason. And I'm wondering, and again, I don't know definitively, but I speculate that, see, I also think, based on some of the videos that I saw on the topic, that you have extraterrestrials who are living amongst us. They are slowly being introduced to the genetics. They are mixing with the general population. And so they want to create a hybrid that looks like humans, but they are hybrids. They're extraterrestrial and human. And so they want to take over. But in order to take over, you have to make the environment more hospitable for you to live in. And remember, like in the movie The Matrix, how they were, in the beginning of the movie, it explains about how the old Earth was, the AI technology was changing the environment to make it more toxic to humans, but it's considered favorable for the ET to live in. So if these ETs are becoming hybrid here on this planet, and they have a thing for coffee, so maybe this is part of it. That this secret program might be the cause of why slavery was being pushed so long, because maybe that's they were creating these new colonies up in space. Something was going on, and I know Europeans can't eat all those sugar, coffee, all these byproducts that were, products that was being produced on a large scale. And also you have what they call the Antarctic. It is said that there are beings that live under the ice in the Antarctic. It's an underground city. And also things like coffee, it's a stimulant, and when you're cold, like in the Antarctic, you need something that's going to try to keep you warm, and the caffeine is going to give you that energy boost. The colder a climate is, you have a higher um, energy requirement. So they're probably consuming a lot of high energy foods, candy bars, and bingo. That's where sugar they can use. Because again, you have the sugarcane plantations, and you can take that sugar, make products like candies and things like that, desserts, and send it to the Antarctic, where it could be used to help keep your energy up so that you could stay warmer longer. So I really feel that that things are interrelated, and people are doing things for a reason, and it's not just because they have something, because it's something better for them to do. People have reasons for their actions, and it's not just they wanted you to think that it's about us, about being inferior and someone else being superior. No, it has to do with need. And you have a society that's trying to develop a colony, and then you got maybe masses of people throughout the galaxy, and they're doing trade with each other. That's what I'm thinking. So coffee is being consumed at extremely large um, amounts, and I doubt it's just because they just love coffee. It's a reason for all this. So I think things are again interrelated, and you have to really watch out why are things happening. Okay, I'm just looking at a piece of paper here. I want to make sure I got all the points. So yeah, so as a recap, because this is a continuation from the video I just did, the live stream accidentally ended. But in short, I made mention about the steps and procedures for things to consider when you're doing an enema, or in this case a coffee enema, and to make sure that you have something to protect the floor because you're going to leak. Um, have like a basin of clean water. You could put a little peroxide in it, and so when you do use the potty, when you release your bowels, it might come out very explosive, and so you have to clean up that mess. So you have that water that with the cleanser in it available for you to wipe things down, and again, you might have a leak on yourself, and so you need a nice clean cloth to uh, remove any of the stool that might have gotten on your skin. Uh, I made mention about, let's see, about fluoride, and how the doctors, not doctors, the dentist had said that if thought that I would have bad teeth, and then when he saw that I had healthy gums and no cavities, that was hard for him to believe, because he thought the only way to have strong teeth is to take fluoride and to floss. And I proved to him that's not the case, and that you have people from the Caribbean who eat a lot of whole foods, and they have a limited amount of processed food, like cookies and things like that, you know. And so you find people in the Caribbean, many of them have especially the English-speaking islands, they have very, very nice teeth, okay? And the last thing I mentioned was about the island of Pitcairn, a British colony that's in the Pacific Ocean, and how I thought um, that living on a small island, or having a small population, would equate being happy and everybody getting along, and then to find out that there's a lot of sexual violations that are happening to the young girls, even as young as 3 years old. So it's a wake-up call for me, because I was brainwashed to think that happiness could only really occur, or paradise is equated with living on an island. And in fact, I live in New York City, and it's on an island, and it's far from peace here. It's a lot of things going on socially. It's really stressful. So yeah, the very last thing I want to say is I need to take better care over my health. I think the spots that I mentioned in my last live stream, I have these markings that are on my thighs and buttocks. It almost looks like a bruise and slightly scabbing. I woke up one day with it. It wasn't there the day before, and a friend of mine had passed away about 5 days ago, and it stressed me out. And um, the next thing I know, I have those spots. So I was told that stress can do that. Stress could hurt your immune system, and I think in my case that's what happened. But I want to try to minimize any potential toxins in my body, and so I did a cleanse. I did the coffee enema, and um, I did a castor oil pack on my abdomen. I had it on for a couple of hours and massaged my belly, and so the castor oil pack absorbs um, extra toxins that are being released in my body. So I have to learn how to relax more, and I think I just need to buckle down and not sleep with my tablet on and watching videos. My body needs to rest. So I think what I'll do today is I'll light a candle and gaze on the candle. That I find that's very relaxing, and then fall asleep. So I thank you, people out there, and I hope you enjoyed this live stream. And if you like this content and my channel, you may wish to donate to my channel, and you can go to Spirit Journey. That's the name of my channel. And on the top portion of the banner of the channel, you'll see the link to my PayPal me account, and you just click on it and follow the prompts, and any amount would be appreciated. I appreciate you viewers, and I appreciate your comments. Yes, so also please feel free to comment below on any of the information that I shared with you today, and you can share my video with friends or family members, and to give me the thumbs up. Yeah. Hey, hi, Crystal. Yeah. Yeah, you have a good night. Yeah. So, peace and love to you. And, yeah, stay relaxed, stay calm, so that you can have, so you don't get these spots that I have on my body. Yeah.